introduce yourself, let us know what you're studying, where you're from, and a bit about your food interests.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Lily. I study politics and philosophy at Uni Melbourne, part-time. Been there a couple of years now. And I also work in the student success team, so with Jessie and Shari, and a bunch of other people. I'm from New South Wales, and yeah, I moved to Melbourne a couple of years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago. And I guess I've kind of been cooking for myself ever since. I'm definitely not a master chef of any kind, but you know, I make do. And yeah, I guess I don't have any dietary requirements. I'm not vegan, vegetarian or anything like that, but this recipe today is actually vegetarian, and I got it from my housemate Ed. It's actually my first time making it. It's just veggie sausage rolls. So it's quite involved. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's good. But yeah, he made them and they're delicious. So let's try it out. How many people do we have here today?
So at the moment you have 5 lovely people watching and demonstrating. So we're all going to take it on board, and we're going to record this so I can make up a recipe list after for people to follow along if they want to.
Okay, awesome. All right, cool. Well, I'll run you through like what I've got here. So first of all, spring onions, okay. Parsley, and it has to be fresh parsley, Ed said. 2 cans of chickpeas, salt, pepper, a bunch of spices like paprika, oregano, basil, and then yeah, so then we've got poppy seeds and sesame seeds and sunflower seeds that go on top. Carrots, zucchini, eggs, curry powder, panko breadcrumbs, and feta. All right, so the first thing you do is blend up the chickpeas, but you've got to rinse them first. Get all the things. So I'll just do this behind camera. I'm just quickly going to rinse the chickpeas.
Lily, tell us, is there a particular brand of chickpea that you go for?
Well, to be honest, they're pretty much all the same. Like you just get the ones that are picked and soaked. And I generally just go with the cheapest ones because putting them into a recipe, you're not really going to notice any kind of like, you know, major difference between brands.
Absolutely. And I think as a university student as well, I definitely think we can relate to picking the cheapest one.
Yeah, exactly. And chickpeas are so cheap, so they're really good.
Also, Lily, while you're going through it, we'd love to hear, just so people get a rough idea on how much this might cost based in Melbourne, how much do the ingredients cost if you know them?
Well, okay, so pretty much we had all of the spices already.
Mm-hmm.
We collect those over time. They don't cost too much when you first buy them, so they're a really good staple to have just to add flavour to any meal, really. Chickpeas, super cheap. You can get them for like $1.50 a can. Yeah, probably the most expensive stuff is like the fresh like parsley and spring onion and vegetables, but even those only cost about $15 maybe. So it is really cheap, and you can make these bulk and put them in the freezer and like have them for lunch like throughout the week as well.
Amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got like a actual blender here, so I'm just putting them in this and blending them up. But if you don't have a blender, you can always just mash them up with a bowl until you get like the consistency of hummus type thing.
Nice.
Not sure how loud this is going to be. Almost there.
Would you put blender food processor on one of those must-have items if you're moving out of home? Is that something, if you were to put a list together of all of the kind of kitchen appliances that you use, is blender up there?
Oh, sorry, was that for me? Sorry, this
Yeah.
was so bad. It was like a construction site. I couldn't really.
No, I was just saying, because, you know, you've recently moved out of home, is a blender something that's on your must-have list?
Look, to be honest, not necessarily, because you can pretty much do everything you need with a blender with, I don't know, actually. I love having juices. So if you like to make juices and smoothies, then definitely. And they're a good breakfast to have. But when it comes to cooking, I guess you don't need one. I think you can get some cheap blenders. But if you want the job done right, I guess you have to get one of the good ones. Yeah, so I'm just getting the chickpeas out of the blender now. Funny story, my housemate saw like some hummus on the bench and thought it was ice cream. Put it in the freezer. Not a very good dessert. All right, cool. So pretty much now it's like, it's such an easy recipe. You pretty much put everything in together. Like, so just going to grate the carrot and zucchini into the chickpeas. We'll rinse them off first. But yeah, on a day-to-day basis, I probably don't cook something as elaborate as this. So I probably just have like sandwich or smoothie kind of thing. It's always hard to sort of resist Uber Eats. But yeah, being a student, it's definitely not a good idea to overdo that. What about you, Jessie? What do you eat generally?
So my partner's from Nepal, so there's a lot of home cooking and there is a lot of spices. We have a spice rack which is ridiculous. It's about 1.5 meters long, and I think we've got like close to 60 different jars of spices. Like, honestly, we could open a spice store. But we use a heck of a lot of garlic, cumin, onion, chili. Chili is in like everything. Stuff that I didn't think you put chili on has chili. Like every single dish has chili. So it's a lot of vegetables and a lot of beef and goat.
Okay, yeah.
Which I've not had prior. So that was an interesting one. But yeah, mainly vegetables, beef, and goat are like the 3 main things we have all the time.
Wow. Yeah. I think I even know 100 spices. Definitely not.
No. I don't know half these ones.
Does your partner cook mostly?
Sorry?
Do you cook, or does your partner cook mostly?
I attempt to cook and then I get that. No, it's okay. I'll do it. Move over. It's okay. Thanks. Okay. Or he's like, I'm going to make dinner. I'm like, cool, I'll come help. He's like, no, it's all good. You keep working. It's okay. And I'm like, is that because I'm bad at it? Or like, he's like, no, you do good. That was really good. So
I'll do it for you. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. So some days it's good because some days I'm really tired. He's like, I'm going to cook dinner. I'm like, thank you. That's great. And other days I'm like, let me help you. He's like, no, it's all good.
I know it's sometimes it's hard, like cooking for yourself and finding the motivation, like, you know, to cook a meal just for one person. I live in a share house with 3 other people, so we like rotate. We all cook at least one night a week, which is good because you cook one night and then you get dinner 4 nights. And the other 3 are free for all. Should have got a bigger grater, but we've just moved into this house, so we're making do.
What about everyone else? What's their go-to? Sorry, Lily.
Oh no, I was just saying you've probably got some good healthy tips. You're really healthy. You're my idol. What were you asking there?
What everyone else's kind of go-to lunches are. So we've scheduled this at lunchtime. Does anyone else have like a go-to that they make at home?
I will just have boiled chicken breast and boiled vegetable. That's it. Normally, I will skip the carbohydrate to keep fit.
Nice. Do you spice the chicken or anything like that? You use spices and stuff?
When I cook protein like meat stuff, I will use water to instead of the oil, like more like a steamed one, a poached one. And then maybe I will make some sauce by myself, use the chili powder or pepper and the soy sauce, and then use the meat to dip. I think it's healthier and tasty, both.
Yeah, nice. Yummy. Boiling's definitely the healthier option than frying. Oil's bad.
What about you, Mateus?
Me, I mean, for lunch, I probably just take like a sandwich. Then just like at the end of the day, I usually cook noodles because it's the easiest, the quickest thing I have to make. Then on the weekends, depending on like if we reach an agreement with our housemates, I cook something more elaborate, like the pizzas, or we were planning on making empanadas
Too much carbohydrate.
soon. Yes, a lot of carbohydrate. I would not deny that. Yeah, I mean, because of that, what I did was starting just buying the salad packages you can find like in Coles and stuff, just to add more greens to
Like
my
perhaps
life.
spinach or something.
No, they actually had like pre-made bags of salad, like coleslaw, mixed greens, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, like yeah, mixed like with rocket and spinach and stuff like that. So. I do that too, but it's also pretty bad for the environment. But Australia's pretty bad with the whole plastic packaging thing. Everything's in plastic, even these things. It's like, oh well, gotta go to the markets or something.
Although the Coles near my place has just started putting in the fresh produce section these like, I want to say they're like mesh or canvas type produce bags, so that you can start like grabbing your fruit and veg in produce bags as opposed to like plastic bags.
Like nets?
Lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like a net type thing. But then I was also just looking, I don't know the suburb, but there's 2 suburbs in Melbourne that have just undergone redevelopment in their Woolworths or Coles, where majority of this stuff is not packaged anymore. So like you can take in containers and like fill up your cereal, or you can get fresh produce without any plastic, like it's not individually wrapped anymore. I don't know where it is, but I was reading about it. It looked really cool.
One's in Moonee Ponds. I definitely know that.
And the other one's in Hawthorne.
There we go. See?
Oh, wow. Well, I think
Right next to Swinburne.
we're phasing out the plastic eventually.
Yeah.
Does anyone know a quicker way than this?
I got one of those julienne peelers because I got really sick of grating stuff, where you just kind of like, it's like a pencil sharpener. So you put the carrot through and it basically grates it in one, like 5 or 6 long strings, and then you just cut them up.
Oh my gosh, what a dream.
Yeah, it's the best. So you just stand there essentially like.
Another one, I think it's more convenient. This one, I will show you now.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Kitchen gadgets. What about, you're getting into your kind of
This
30s. Yes. Oh,
it has a. You can just do it very quickly, and the carrot will just comes here, so it's very convenient.
That's great.
New tech, that's amazing.
Where did you get that?
Yeah, super convenient.
Where's it from, Manju?
Big W.
Oh, okay. Let's start making also a shopping list of things, additions to the kitchen.
That's actually such a good idea, yeah. And we can maybe even put links to cheap ones.
Yeah, so this is something that we can build. We're also the team that look after orientation. So some of the things that we think about are like, what can we give to students when they're starting university? So all of these suggestions we're taking now are really, really useful for us. I hate grading. It's so annoying. I hate it so much.
It's kind of like, you know, a little therapeutic, but I'm also like conscious of how long it's taking. You know,
these are those when they tell you to do household meditation, these are the kinds of moments where you take 5 minutes to just stay in the moment of what you're doing. So grading is one, washing dishes is another, where they recommend that you just kind of zone out a little bit and take some time to yourself.
The best one for anyone, like the thing I find the most relaxing at home is watering the garden. So for anyone that has like a veggie garden, or even if you're in an apartment, you have like pot plants, I find it so relaxing just to stand out there, zone out, not even think about it, and just water for, well, with the size of the garden I have, it takes about an hour. But just stand there and relax. I find it the most peaceful thing.
Do you have herbs in your garden, Jessie?
Oh, yes, we have everything. So we have a massive community garden out the front of our house. So it has like every veggie you can think of, herbs. Our amazing colleague, Kate, grew a whole bunch of vegetables and herbs and stuff from seeds for us for the community garden. So it's huge. Wow. It's growing so well.
Oh, wait, so you have a community garden at your house?
Yeah, we started out the front because I run a community organisation. And so we started a community garden out the front, and it's been going really well.
That's great. So do people come there, and can they, like, if they contribute, can they take some of the herbs and things? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. So people come down each day, do some weeding, or they might bring down some little seedlings and plant them, take some cuttings like lettuce. We try and have stuff that you don't have to take the whole plant, that you can take cuttings of. So like tomatoes, where you can take individual tomatoes, lettuce, where you can cut off leaves, stuff like that.
Sorry, my housemate, we're all working from home, so everyone's kind of around.
Is this the housemate that came up with the recipe?
No, this is Ben. Ed's popped out.
Hey.
Ben's a really good cook.
I'm not that good.
He's pretty good. He makes it.
We'll get you to demonstrate next week, Ben.
I can do a demonstration if you like. I already did chorizo and pasta. It's like
yes.
Chorizo.
Yes, Lily, lock him in. We need someone for the last week of October.
Yeah.
The other thing is, guys, if
October,
yeah, I'll throw it together. If you catch me at dinner time, I'll do it.
yes.
Right, enjoy, guys.
If you're not, ready for presenting, and you're not sure that you have the time, we're also more than happy to collate your recipes as well. So that's after Lily's session's done, we'll circulate the recipe for hers, but we can also start putting together some really easy ones for you guys, so that we can build a bit of a list of them for students as well, that we can circulate when we have these kinds of sessions, or we can put into the student kitchen when it becomes a reality.
Yeah, I was thinking another, like I could have sent this recipe out beforehand, and then people who watched it like with me could also like have been doing it at the same time.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I mean, we'll look to the students who are here. Is that something that you would like to do next time? Follow along?
A suggestion that I had chatting, so the person who we got gonna demonstrate on the 19th, she is willing to send me a list of ingredients on the Friday before. And what we're going to do is anyone that's registered, we're going to email the ingredients out to people. So if you want to follow along, you can buy all the ingredients, and then like Lily's demonstrating, you can follow along and make it at the same time in the background as well.
Yeah, make it a bit more interactive for you guys.
That sounds awesome.
I'm going to attempt them as well, and hopefully not fail.
I made the most amazing stew the other day, and I know I think Mashu mentioned this before, like things can be quite like calorie dense and quite full on sometimes, and sometimes we just feel, especially for lunch, I think for a lot of cultures you're wanting a lighter lunch that can energize you through to the end of the day. And I just love this spring chicken and citrus stew that I did. It's not normally like your beef stew with stuff in it. It's from Jamie Oliver, so everyone can go ahead and Google it, but it's basically got the main sort of vegetables in it are fennel, which is a pretty like British, really interesting. It's really yummy in this dish. So a large fennel, onion, garlic cloves, a whole free-range chicken, and asparagus, beans, peas, and then herbs. So we put in flat leaf parsley, dill, and also green olives and cannellini beans. And it was so regenerating, and I loved it. It was full of protein, but still like got you your greens and things like that. So yeah, I just thought I'd put that out there because I loved it. And if you're okay with eating meat, yeah, it's definitely something that's really good. I think without meat as well, you could do it, and it would be still as delicious. So
You would probably put something like cannoli beans or something, you know, cannellini beans. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
as
it's
a
already,
replacement.
yeah, they're already in there, so you could just pop them out and take the chicken out, and you'd still have like a delicious vegetarian meal.
There's also, Kate, I was just wondering, I think there's a lot of chicken substitutes, or like not meat, but it's meat tastes like or look like or something that perhaps could use.
Yeah, delish. I just, and it made so much, like think about a whole chicken. Makes so much. So I've just put stuff in the freezer in like portion sizes, so that I know I could just whip it out.
How many, Kate, can I ask, how many servings do you think you would get, like with what you ate, and how many portions?
Okay, let me count how many meals it's made. So for me and my partner, two nights, that's 4 meals, plus I had 1 for lunch, 5, plus another 3 in the freezer. So there you go.
Nice.
2, 4, 6, 8. And they were pretty decent sized meals, so you could probably make 10 if you're a person that is really strict on portion sizes. Lily?
Please. Rinsing off the parsley and the spring onions. And Kate, that sounds really yummy and like refreshing. You should post the link in the Teams.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that now for everyone.
Jamie Oliver is such a kind of go-to for really easy recipes. Like if you're struggling to think about what to make, he's great. He's my go-to risotto, actually.
I was going to say risotto. I'd love a simple risotto, even just with, if you're on a really stringent or tight shopping list for 1 week. I normally try and go like 1 week we're going to do like really tight meals where everything's like by the dollar, and then the next week I might like lavish myself a little bit, and then we do back and forth. And you know, I'm not a student anymore, so like I'm still living like that. I'm still doing that, but enjoying that. And I love his risotto with just lemon and rice. And it's just delicious. So gorgeous. So definitely check their stuff out. Yeah.
Hey, is it just lemon and rice?
Literally lemon, rice, salt and pepper, and stock, obviously.
Wow.
And it's just delicious. Yeah, it's just a really simple, traditional food that's not too jazzy, but Yeah.
I tried making risotto the other night. I get these meal kits from HelloFresh. I'm not sure if any of you guys.
Yeah.
And I tried making the risotto, but wasn't sure how much water to put in. It didn't actually specify, so I kind of just guessworked it. Put the water in the pan, like with everything, and put it into the oven afterwards. And it came out all right, but slightly gluggy. I don't know if you guys have any tips there. Is the water does it need to be exact?
So I feel like with I don't know, I don't think there is an exact amount. It's depends, but I normally ladle it in, and then when it soaks up, you put in another ladle and it soaks up. And yeah, and then you sort of go from it that way. Then it makes a sort of nice saucy mixture that's sort of opaque, and that's when you sort of know you're on the right track. But Jamie Oliver has the best guy. I think he's like Otelli or something, but he's on I think it's like Jamie Oliver's YouTube or something, and he walks you through everything. So just
wow. Okay, I'm just going to do that.
we're not. I don't think we're getting sponsored by Jamie Oliver.
No.
But yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Dreams.
That's the dream. That's the goal.
He also has this really cool, just for the last bit on him, on his website, he has like cheap eats, which are really yummy. And they're just eats for every person under any sort of health requirement, whatever. But I really like going into them and just picking up they're literally called Cheap and Cheerful. And there's things from like soup to Brazilian chicken bucket to broccoli soup, which I've made, and it's delicious. Yeah. So there's lots of stuff in there. Yeah.
I'm just chopping the spring onions now. I'm kind of winging it, as I said, because it's my first time. Just doing like 1 centimeter with this. I'm so excited. If they taste anywhere near as good as this, they're going to be great. Yeah, the meal kits are good if you don't know how to cook, or if you don't have much time. You can order kind of meal packs that come to your house with the ingredients. You sort of just put them all together. But that being said, they're not very cheap, I guess. So.
Quick question, Lily. What size roughly are you cutting these?
What size? Yeah, like 1 centimeter.
Little bite size.
Little
Awesome.
And now with the parsley. Does anyone know, can you kind of just rip it off, or do you someone said you need to rip off all of the little bits, or can I just cut it?
Stems are fine in parsley. Yeah. I would just kind of fold over the leaves and just hack at it, but
Yeah. I'll break off the leaves.
All right. Well, look.
What is everyone here having for lunch today?
I'm doing my chicken.
Nice.
yeah, I noticed you started cooking. That's awesome. You can hear behind me, my partner started cooking. So he's making ramen, so miso ramen with, he's made chashu eggs as well. So he made those all pre-boiled 10 yesterday, and he'll add them into his soup throughout the week, his ramen.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, they're soft within kind of like a soy mix. They sit overnight.
Yum. I just had leftovers from last night, which is cheese kranski, and then I had some salad, and then I had a few handmade sweet potato chips with like chili and rosemary and thyme scattered through them. JJ's face.
I didn't think this through. I didn't eat anything because I went, I'll eat after. And the problem is my computer's in my bedroom, so the kitchen's down there. And now I'm just listening to everyone's food and meals. I'm like, oh, sounds so good. So I'm telling you right now, as soon as this is done, I'm going to eat lunch.
Oh. Starts cooking faster. Like, move faster, Lily. Well, it sounds like everyone's had some pretty fancy lunches today.
Yeah, for Manchu, I get low carb wraps from Woolworths, so they kind of act like I make like a cheese toasty with them, and yeah, just to because I stick to a kind of lower carb diet because it works for me. But yeah, that's my lunch is eggs and one of those low carb wraps toasted.
I think my meal is always not that low. It's low carb, but always high calorie. I think I eat too much every day. When I have my salad every morning, this is the bowl I use. So normally, I think five or six size more than people have. I think.
Nah, I'm down with the big salads, Manchu. I think you've got that size correct.
And I was going to say, it's salad. You're allowed to have as much as you want of salad.
It's not the rule. You can like fill up on as much salad as you want. It's like really low calorie.
That's how we were raised, is if it's salad, you can have as much as you want. It was more if it's lollies and stuff that there's a limit.
We also had the book money wasn't real money, so I just don't think maybe how you were raised.
Money wasn't real money.
Oh my gosh. I love the pot that you have, Lily. Where's that from?
Which pot? Oh, this.
The crock
A
pot.
mixing bowl.
Oh, was that a bowl?
That's a bowl. No, when we moved into this house, the last tenants actually left us a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
That's lovely.
Crockery, like everything kind of made for the kitchen.
I think that's something that's quite weird about Australia's rental market. Like we got left a cool washing machine. So we're just too tired of taking it out. So any international students wanting to know if there's anything left over in apartments, it's a yes.
Yeah, we got some
100%.
baking trays.
Yeah, and 100% I can vouch on that because I'm moving this week and I've literally, the person taking over my lease, I'm like, do you want a bed? Do you want a cupboard? Do you want a washing machine? Do you want this? I don't want to move at all.
My best house was across the road from Savers drop-off point.
Oh.
So when we were moving in, we dropped everything we didn't need, and when we were moving out, we dropped everything we didn't need. It was the best place to live.
Oh, that's so lucky. You could just like pop there whenever you needed anything.
Yeah, so if you're packing and moving houses, one of the things I recommend is packing boxes that go straight to a charity store. So you've got your half that are moving with you and your half that are just going straight out, and it makes life so much easier.
It's a good tip.
We also got a lawnmower, but it's broken. All right, I'm going to crack the eggs now. I'm going to do it into a separate bowl just because I've always done that in case.
Is that so if you get eggshells in it, you can pick them out?
I think it's if they're off, mate.
Yeah, smart. Smart.
About the shelving too.
I think both reasons are good reasons.
I think so.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, my mum, like, we're raised on a farm, so I think we always do it just in case.
And when you're raised on a farm, especially if you have roosters and stuff and broody hens, you never know which ones are half fertilized and which ones aren't. So totally relate.
Oh yeah, my mum told me a story earlier in my life, and I think it scarred me. About, yeah, pretty much exactly that. I think Ed's home, which is good because maybe he can show me how much spice to put in. But I think I'm just going to put a little bit of it in and just see how I.
That's how spices work.
Yeah.
Measure with your eyes.
So this morning when I went to the shops, I got everything I needed except like the key ingredient, which is the puff pastry.
Delivery.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, look at that.
Is this the culprit who gave you the recipe?
I am.
Nice.
Good life hack, this one. Cook it once and then you store it for like 3 weeks. Then you can pretend to be an adult without actually being an adult every day. So
He sounds like he's taught uni shoots before.
yeah,
The whole thing, yeah.
yeah, like 2/3, something like that.
It's also like he's also a pretty good cook, like really good actually.
Okay, so I've actually changed my mind. I think in the last week of October, we can do a Lily household cook-off and all 3 of you can jump on and do something.
That's going to be hectic.
A MasterChef style.
Yes. Oh, I love this. Lily, we're going to talk after with your housemates as well.
I'll just be the commentator, like the host.
I think Manchu's involved as well. She's cooking quietly in the background. You'd be a good contestant, wouldn't you?
Handling my chicken.
And sure, you have to make sure you show us when you've finished making yours as well.
Oh, yes, please.
And should I just put a little bit of spice in?
It's really to taste. Like I go ham on spices, so I put like a tablespoon of paprika and a tablespoon of curry powder, and then I think about a tablespoon of oregano. But really, I just like pour them all in until I think it looks good. But it depends. Yeah, whatever your palate is. Like I put a lot of chili in it as well. So there's no real rules on what you spice it with. You can just spice it with basically as much or as little as you want.
That's helpful. Thank you.
So I reckon put like a tablespoon of.
I'll just try like a table, like one of these and cook kind of.
Yeah, I'd put a little bit more curry powder than anything because then they taste really good.
Yeah.
It's like 1.5 maybe of that, or even 1.5 of that, and then like one of everything else.
One of everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a benefit of living in a share house. You get to learn how to cook from your housemates. Learn new recipes and things like that.
Absolutely. Benefits all around. Also, you just get fed constantly if people need things to chuck out.
And again, with these spices, is there a particular brand or is it a price thing?
I think you can get like lots of cheap spices from Terra Madre, but Ed is
I
a
go to-
local Melbourne, so maybe he
I go to Graham on Brunswick Street, so it's actually cheaper than buying from places like Woolies and Coles. But you just take a jar or a container there and you fill it up. So it's kind of wholesale costs and zero waste. So I go there on the weekend and it costs way less than to buy it in packets.
That's awesome.
On Brunswick Street, right opposite the Evelyn Hotel, which everybody should probably know.
Perfect. Shari, you're nodding your head. Do you know that one?
Yeah, I do. It's so good.
Can somebody pop a link up into the chat for anyone else? You're amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, so far, guys, we've put in paprika, oregano, chives, up to basil. Thank you, Ed. All right.
Lily, are we allowed to have a quick look at how the bowl's going inside the bowl?
Yeah, sure.
Show us inside the bowl. Oh, cool.
Before now, I've just put the spices on top, but obviously I'm going to mix them in, guys. Don't worry.
Love it.
Didn't successfully finish grating the entire carrot either. I thought I'd move to another step.
I don't think anybody ever does.
No.
I think it's successful in even grating the carrot and successfully grating the finger.
The trick is to just eat it before anyone sees that you've got it left over.
Oh, yeah, true.
Because I only cook for me and my partner, so if I eat it, that's my portion.
Sustenance while you're preparing the food.
Oh yeah, so Ed went to the store and got the pastry. But yeah, that's another housemate. That's great.
Are you getting notifications, Lily?
Yes.
Apologies.
But yeah, as soon as when I moved out, like I hadn't cooked for myself at all because my mum like always cooked for us. It wasn't, and I think kind of like what you were saying earlier, Jessie, like when you're trying to like help your partner in the kitchen, and it's kind of like no, and that was my mum's style as well, which isn't like very practical when you live out of home. I mean, I've spoiled it at the time, but yeah.
And especially because at the start, it was always when he first moved in and was like, I'm going to make dinner. I was like, oh, I'll come help you. He's like, no, let me cook for you. And I thought, oh, that's really sweet. He's wanting to prepare dinner and cook. It's only now after a few weeks of when I go in and go, no, I'll come help you. He's like, no, really, let me cook for you. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now I'm getting it. Thanks. But it's fine. If it's pasta or pizza or anything from the Italian side of it, he's like, can you come cook it? And I'm like, yep, okay, I'll do that. You can cook everything else.
I'm really good at all breakfasts, all kinds of eggs.
I think I might have to get some pointers from you on breakfast because I generally don't eat breakfast because I don't know what to make.
I have like a late breakfast and then dinner normally. But yeah, it's because I really like carby food and yummy food like that. So.
And are these just diced or sliced, or what size are we making the onions?
Diced as well? Oh, they're meant to be sliced?
No, diced.
Diced, yeah, cool. I've been doing it diced, so yeah, it's like little bits. Trying not to cry. How the onion makes you cry sometimes.
So I should warn all my demonstrators, if they're using onion, don't put mascara on first.
This is the veggie I will have for my lunch. Too much, right? I think
No, that's
100 grams
Ever
maybe.
too much.
Really like peeling off here. It's crazy.
Is that Chinese broccoli?
Pressure.
I don't think so. I think maybe the name is Choisun or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Translation is from the Cantonese, I guess.
I've just planted some of that. Can you hold it up again so I can see what it looks like when it grows? Okay, cool. Oh, so it's quite big. Oh, cool. Thank you.
Eat too much every day, I think. Even it's healthy, but still too much. I know it.
Look, if it makes you happy.
Surely there wouldn't be too many calories in Chinese broccoli.
I think you've got an assistant in the kitchen, Lily.
This is our house puppy, Peggy. She's super sweet. She's a staffy. She belongs to Ed.
And how old is she?
I'll open the door. She's at the door. She is 4 months.
Thank you.
I don't think you would like onion very much, maybe. All right. So Ed, once we put all of the veggies in and the spices and mix it all together, do I essentially just get the pastry and lay it?
Yeah. So it's basically like rolling sushi or like rolling sausage rolls. And so you just peel it out, cut it in half, and then put a nice thin little tube along, and then roll it nice and tight up, and then cut it into whatever size you want it to be. They work best if you cut them into like thirds or quarters, and they all get like crispy evenly throughout.
Okay, cool. When I'm doing it, I might just ask you to double check.
Yeah. No worries.
Team effort. Team effort.
How are we going for time, guys?
Doing well. We're just on halfway.
Okay, mixing it up. My hands off. what do we have here? Dried garlic. We're going to spoonful of that as well. Seeds, chili flakes.
And Lily, I see you put in, what was that, like a tablespoon or half a tablespoon? And do you normally like spicy food or not, so we can gauge for other people?
I really do like spicy food, so I could put even more in, but I think just to be safe for everyone, I just put 1 tablespoon in.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I really like spicy food. Some people I know are like sensitive to it.
If you're sensitive, probably only put half a tablespoon.
Yeah. Do you think you could still put some in if you were sensitive?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Because there's quite a bit of food in there. I mean, that will make 30 small little sausage rolls. So 1 tablespoon split, or half tablespoon split between 30 isn't really much.
Did you guys catch that? It's like going to be like 30 sausage rolls all together.
So you've got your meals sorted for the next few days then?
The next 2 weeks. All right, so we've also got some feta here, which I think I've got to put in. Do I mix that in as well?
Yeah.
Just like blend it in.
Sorry?
Blend it in.
Yeah.
So I just got this feta from the deli. Probably won't put the whole thing in. I'm just going to break it off. I don't really think I need to cut it because it's so crumbly.
And roughly how much feta are you putting in?
So I think it's about 500 grams there, but I'm not going to put the whole thing in. I'll probably put like half of that, so 250 grams. I love feta, so maybe 3. Is it all
Just saying, I genuinely really want to have these sausage rolls now after watching all this, and I'm so upset that you're not here.
I'm not far though. Maybe I could bring you
Yeah. It's part of lockdown. It's a necessity.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Walk in the park. Walk in the park. What do you think you're going to make, Jessie, for lunch? Have you thought about it?
I don't know, the partner actually is going to be home in about 45 minutes, so he's probably going to want to make lunch. So I'm actually really keen to see what he's going to make.
Perfect. That's great. The wait will be worth it then.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it'll be as good as the sausage roll.
Who knows? We're also like reducing down, so we haven't gone shopping for the week because we're trying to reduce down all the food for when we move this week. So it's sort of like, what do we have left to make food with?
Yeah. All right, cool. Look at this, guys. So I've pretty much blended everything in. This is the mixture. So we're
Wait, can you come back and hold that so I can quickly take a screenshot of it?
Yes.
1 second. Awesome. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, cool. So pretty much at the last step now. Just going to clear some of this out of the way. Letting Peggy back in. You guys should see my little setup. I've currently got my laptop on top of the crate, on top of the stool.
We were talking about it before you started of how different presenters will find different ways to show the camera. So
Yeah.
something we were thinking about.
Yeah, well, I was thinking there, but the lighting wasn't right. You wouldn't have been able to see anything, just the shadow.
Well, this has worked out great.
And to be honest, it's sort of like, well, I mean, I'm not there physically making it, but to me, it looks like it's almost a perfect amount of space as well.
Yeah, it is. It's worked out great. I mean, yeah, things are a little bit crowded here for my liking, but pretty good amount of space. Some people have like, you know, only this much kitchen space, so I shouldn't really complain. Right. And just put it flat.
Yeah, so the best thing to do is keep this somewhere to the side.
Yeah.
And then you said, yeah. And then if you just cut it in half.
Take this off.
No, keep that on because otherwise that'll stick to the board. So you cut that in half and then spoon that on. Yep.
Can I ask a favor? I'm sorry, Lily's housemate. I can't remember the name. Ben?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, there we go. Are you able to hold the camera while she's doing that part so we can just see what you guys are doing?
Sure thing.
Surprised production crew.
So basically, yeah, so I've got a sheet of the puff pastry. This is like what the package looks like, by the way, guys. But I guess you can just get any kind of puff pastry. Yeah, so just like cut it down the middle here, which I already did, and we've like kept this plastic on at the back so that it doesn't stick. Now, I'm just gonna get a spoon and spoon it down the middle.
Yep. Yep.
Is this good texture?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, things could be a little bit more finely chopped, but it's my first attempt, so we'll see how we go.
And you want to spread it, yeah, you want to spread it evenly from here all the way down to the end.
Yeah.
Because these bits, when you roll them up, you don't want to just have puff pastry at the end. So the more evenly you can pack it, the better it will be.
Okay. Can you guys all see this? Yeah.
And Lily, are you doing it like a tube?
Yes.
Okay, so like a hose.
Like a hose. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that good or a bit more?
Well, when you roll it, so then you'll kind of scrunch it down as you go, as you roll it to try and get it as tight as possible. So that's probably good, I reckon.
Okay. So
then you peel that away as you go.
Okay. So guys, see, I'm peeling the plastic off. Don't want to roll that into the sausage roll, obviously. Okay. Okay. Cool. We'll just keep rolling.
Yep. Yep.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, very helpful.
I was just saying, we might have to tell all our presenters to have 2 people.
Or just Ed. We'll send Ed around to people's houses.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
That looks awesome.
Good to make sure that you keep this side on the bottom.
Okay.
So when you're cooking it, it doesn't puff up and separate. So you want to keep...
Which side? The top part?
Keep the lined side on the bottom. Okay, and now, cool. So I'll just do one for now. Thank you, Ed. Much appreciated. How do we get? Do I just place the seeds on top?
So you need an egg wash for that. So if you have 1 extra egg, or you have leftover egg, probably need a little bit more than that. And then you want to egg wash it. And then you can choose whatever seeds you want. So we've got poppy seeds, sesame seeds, and pumpkin seeds. But then brush it on and then sprinkle it over. But you do that at the very end when you've got all of them on a tray.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Oh, marvelous, Ed. I'm just wondering why we're doing an egg wash.
So the egg wash is to make the puff pastry golden brown and make it really feel really indulgent without actually being that indulgent. And it also makes sure that the poppy seeds, sesame seeds, and whatever seed you want to choose stick to the top of the pastry so they don't fall off in the oven.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Wise one. Thank you.
I just realised I haven't put any sage in yet, but never too late. No, not too late.
Oh no, you don't need sage.
Oh, don't need it?
I don't know why that's
All right, cool. Well, I'm just going to keep going.
Can I just ask on that, Lily? Because I've never used sage in my life, and I have a massive sage bush at the back, which now I have a reason for. Question, and this could be for you, or it could be for our lovely assistant, is you're using some spices from jars. If we had fresh, like if we were growing versions of it in the yard, can that also be used, or is it best to use the jar spices?
No, absolutely. The fresher, the better. So like if there was dried garlic, but that's only because we ran out of garlic paste or fresh garlic. So the more fresh stuff you put in there, the better it will taste. But if you don't have access to it, dried stuff works equally as well. But if you've got sage, we haven't put any in here, but there's no real limit to how you can spice it up. It's kind of, the point of it is it's meant to be a pretty basic kind of base to the sausage roll. So then you can kind of add whatever flavors are to your suiting. You could make them like barbecue-y, you could make them, I don't know, saffron-y, you know.
What kind of things do you put sage on, just in general?
All I cook is butter and sage gnocchi, but I'm an original.
Butter and sage, good combo. Tried all these combos through other people cooking for me, and
I was going to say, your household sounds amazing, Lily. I'm really debating moving in for all the cooking abilities.
yeah, come over post lockdown, come over for dinner. Look, I'm doing it. I'm attempting to do it like solo right now, and I think it's kind of working, like without the assistance.
If your chopping board, you can test out with the puff pastry. If the pastry doesn't stick to the chopping board, you can do it without the plastic. But some chopping boards do stick to the pastry. So just play it by ear on a case by case.
Okay.
And I know this is maybe a good tip about puff pastry as well, but the warmer it gets, the harder it is to use. So like having it slightly cold is also really helpful, so it doesn't just fall apart. I don't know if you guys are if it's warm right now, but
yeah, that's true completely. So it wants to be that middle zone between not too frozen, so it can obviously fold, and then not too warm, so it just becomes mush. Yeah, so if you're cooking during the day or in the summer, I'll wet a tea towel over your puff pastry when you buy it, and just leaving it out for the 40 minutes it takes you to prep is enough for it to kind of soften up.
That's a really handy tip.
Adding a bit of salt and pepper. Kind of forgot that one. But that is all right. I think it'll be good. They'll all taste a little bit different. It's actually pretty fun. It's like nice and relaxing doing this. At first I was rushing a lot, but now I'm kind of just in the groove. Not stressing. How is everyone going?
Shari's hit the food.
Huh?
What I can hit. There's no eggs in my house.
Oh no. Manchu, where are you at with yours?
Yeah, how are you going, Manchu?
Oh, I think we've got to watch she's muted.
Yeah.
Fagoon, what are you having for lunch?
Hey.
I actually did just run off to have it. I had some leftover fried rice. I got too hungry listening to all the ingredients.
No. Note to self, have lunch before this session, because Sydney, I'm like, oh, this sounds so good. Kate, what are you having?
I already had it. It was the cheese Kransky
Oh yes, that's
situation. I normally have leftovers from the night before, to be honest with you.
nice.
Cooking for 1 or 2 people is pretty difficult when
Yes.
yeah, so I normally
I-
use my leftovers.
I was going to say, I don't know where your background's from, Kate, but one thing I noticed and a struggle, and I don't know who else will relate to this too. When I moved out of home, there was 6 of us in that household. And
Yeah.
so I'm still used to when I cook, I prepare and make enough to feed 6 people. So we end up always having so much leftovers that we have to put it in the fridge that I'm still trying to figure out how to cook for only like 3 or 4 people.
It's impossible. I'm 100% with you. Cooking
Stuck in my head.
Cooking for one person is such a difficult thing, and if anyone has mastered it, I think you could sell it as a course. Yeah,
100%.
I think what I've started to do is just having like a single protein. So we, in my household, eat meat. So we either have like a chicken or a steak with salad. And that's sort of like the easiest thing I've come across with for like the one meal where you have nothing left over. But yeah, other than that, tips would be great.
Go on, Lily, while you're on, what's your tip for cooking or living alone and cooking? Well, not living alone. Cooking for one.
Cooking for one. Again, like I guess I just I just do like simple pastas, right? Like I just get like ravioli, for example, and then that's really easy. It doesn't require much effort at all. And it lasts. Like if you can cook it up, if you cook the whole thing. Oh, actually, there's this brand. I'll show you guys. This one.
Right.
I love them. Yeah. They're at all IGAs and at Woolies.
Yeah, and they're so quick and so delicious.
So good.
And Kate is the salesperson for that brand, guys. No.
I
wish. Take me.
Yeah, I mean, what do? I kind of just like make do, I guess. I'm not the ideal kind of person who like cooks on the weekends and meal preps and all of that, but I guess I do aspire to be like that. I feel like that probably would be a good tip living alone. Like you could cook a couple different things on Sunday, and put like, you know, for example, like a couple different soups maybe, and then you have and heat them up during the week. Not just one thing when you get really bored.
I feel like that's
doing that when I was a bit more.
I feel like that's hashtag adulting. That's the goal. Goals in life.
100%. I think even like with what Lily's doing right now with the sausage rolls, like you can make one easily and have it cut in 2, and you could have, you know, if you're, you know, a person that can eat all that one sausage, that'd be great. But you could also then freeze the sausage roll as Lily is holding right now and put it in the freezer, and then you just take it out of the freezer and pop it in the oven later on.
Is that what?
That's a good point.
Is that what we do? Do you cook them all up and put them in the freezer?
No, so the best way to store them to keep them for like a month or more, because there's all vegetables in there, it all lasts for ages. Is you cut them all up, you do the egg wash and all the seeds, pop them on the baking tray in the freezer, so then they go back to being frozen, so then they don't stick to each other. And then once they're all frozen, then you just stack them up in a big Tupperware container. And then because they've already got the egg wash on them and they've got the seeds stuck, you just pull them out of the oven, pop 4 in, and they'll come out
killer
as if you've cooked them on the day.
So do you need to, when you're, I guess, putting them in the freezer, do you have to glad wrap them first or just put them straight in on the tray?
So if you've got this, ideally, if you've got the space, you put them in on the tray so then the seeds can freeze onto the pastry without them sticking to something like glad wrap. If it doesn't, you just put a few in at a time in. If you don't have the space, you can put a few in at a time in a Tupperware container. But if you can make space for a baking tray full, it makes a big difference if you can leave them in there for a few hours. And make sure they're all chopped up first because they're harder to cut when they're frozen. And then, yeah, dumb, easy lunch. And then you look like you're really adulty by having like pre-made vegetarian sausage roll.
Like a kid.
Gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Bring them out at parties. Tell people you've been slaving.
What was that?
So
I was
I
saying, bring them out at parties and tell people you've been slaving away in the kitchen for hours.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Manchu, have you finished your
finished. I can show you guys now. My
Yeah, let me quickly change the spotlight so we can see yours, and then we'll jump back on. Where are we?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hold
Actually,
that. I need to take a screenshot.
Can you please come over to our workplace and just cook for us all the
Yes.
time?
Yes, that looks amazing.
Talk about extra credit later on if you'd like.
Oh,
Wow.
that's fantastic.
That looks so delicious.
So just chicken breast and a vegetable and half orange.
Orange, yeah, delish.
Nice. Love it.
Oh.
Okay, let me find Lily.
I bought these dishes from the second-hand shop.
Yep.
Love
I
that.
piece like that. So yeah, I love this
That's
kind of things.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Manchu.
No worries.
That's awesome. You would cut up so quickly as well, like just during the process. This whole thing. Okay, so I put 4 of them on the tray.
Yeah, let me get a screenshot. Amazing. Love it. Thank you.
So now I'm going to cut them into thirds. Yeah, Ed was saying if you have them in bite, like you can do quarters if you want bite-sized pieces, but thirds if you want more. I myself am quite hungry right now.
You're hungry.
Yeah, we're all hungry. Okay, cool. So now here's the egg wash. First
Separate them out.
separate them a little bit. Lucky. So yeah, make sure you cut them all the way through and separate them so that they don't like cook like onto themselves. That actually separate. Okay, so yeah, just again, this is what it's looking like.
That looks so good.
All right, egg wash time. Just like a
I'm pretty liberal.
instinct.
I'm pretty liberal with it. I mean, be as conservative or as brightness as you want with it.
Feel like may as well go all out. Me to me every day, treat yourself. So this is just like egg, literally just egg stuff, by the way.
Do you whisk the egg together once you crack it, or just by itself?
Yeah, whisk it up.
Yeah, and then put that over top.
Yeah. It's one of these things.
These-
About the egg, I have one dessert recipe which is super easy if you want to try.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, Manchu,
please.
shoot it through.
Just mix egg with soy milk. Add sugar or not sugar, it doesn't matter. It depends on you. And mix that. Put it in the microwave. 3 minutes done.
Is it like a pudding?
Yeah, super tasty.
Oh, okay. So was that with, sorry, you said soy milk?
Yeah, soy milk and 1 egg mixed together.
That's so good for our lactose
Super
people.
delicious and healthy and quicker.
Oh, thank you.
No worries.
Literally writing
That's
it
also
down.
really good, Kate, for us people who don't know how to cook.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Milk,
Thanks.
almond milk, soy milk, everything. I find the soy is the best texture and the tasty. With almond milk, it's more like it's not like pudding. It's very watery, and with milk, it will be more harder. The texture is harder than the soy milk. So my favorite is soy milk. You can try everything as you want.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
And as for the time, maybe it depends on your microwave about the power, but you can try many times by yourself, find the best texture for yourself. For me, I don't like the fully cooked one. I prefer the medium one. So yeah, it's super, super tasty and very simple.
I'm going to try that. Thank you so much.
So Lily, you're adding sesame, sorry.
Oh, wait, go Sherry.
No, I was just asking, you're adding sesame seeds now?
Well, while we were all talking, I actually did a little mix up of some different kinds of seeds. So poppy seeds, sesame seeds, some pepper seeds, and pumpkin seeds. But it looks awesome.
Oh my gosh, Lily. Oh, the pumpkin seeds.
Oh, yeah.
Hold it. Wait, need a photo.
No, we need it. We need a photo, Lil.
You have to come back with that
That's
quality. Okay.
Incredible.
Good.
All yours.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, and we've put the oven on already.
One more little step.
Oh, there's one more little step I'm forgetting.
What's the oven on and what's it preset to?
So we don't have a fan oven. We've actually got a really retro kind of.
Oh, retro. Look at those knobs.
I love the retro look.
Yeah.
That is excellent.
Yeah, so we've got it currently on 200 degrees because 180 fan forced, yeah, is what you would have it on. Which I feel like most ovens are fan forced, so yeah. Getting one step, which is...
So before you pop these in the oven, you want to take a knife and you want to just lightly score across the top of the pastry. So then when it puffs out, it doesn't explode or look gross. So you just do a couple of like shallow little diagonal cuts across the top of the pastry. So like 2 or 3. And then that just means when they bulge up, they've got space to air out.
So don't cut, I'm just watching it. He's not cutting it the whole way through. He's just kind of doing like slices on this surface first. Is this about how much seeds you do?
I go ham on my seeds. I run it with an egg and then put heaps of seeds on, but
Up to taste.
yeah. And the scoring, I forgot to tell Liz, this is my fault, but the scoring's probably better done before you do the seeds, just so then you're not cutting through seeds. It makes it a little bit easier.
For those of us who are really bad in the kitchen, what did you say? The what?
So score, yeah.
So basically, you don't want to slice through the top, or you don't want to slice all the way through the pastry into the sausage roll. You just want to lightly cut through the top part of the pastry, just so when it puffs up, it kind of like what they do with bread, where they cut the top of the bread, and that's where you get that divot in the middle. Just kind of space to expand outwards when it's in the oven,
So it doesn't crack.
so it doesn't crack.
Yeah.
And then it makes you look more professional than you are. Awesome.
So ready to go? I think the oven's been on a little while, so I think it's very good to put in.
Lily, this kitchen is awesome.
Yeah, it really is a cool kitchen. It's a cool house. The whole thing's super retro. Yeah, see them all in there, guys?
And is there a reason why you put them at the top?
Because there's stuff on the second shelf. I just noticed that. But also, I'm going to be making more, so I better take those trays out, actually. Yeah, they're quite close to the top, so I'm going to be pretty wary of that. So we've currently got 12 little sausage rolls in there already. And we've still got heaps of mixture. Like,
Wow.
so you can see it really does work out to be a lot. But yeah, I guess I'd recommend not putting them at the very top of the oven because then you won't have to check on them as much, but I think I'll be okay because I'm going to be very attentive.
That's a good point.
And yeah, I'm not sure how long.
About 30 minutes, 30 to 40, probably like 30 minutes when they're raw and about 40 minutes when they're frozen. But you can generally kind of just keep an eye on them because sometimes if they're a little bit bigger, they take a little bit longer. But just check on them once they start to go really golden and all puffed up. That's generally the best time.
Yeah, well, there's no meat inside.
Yeah, exactly. So as long as it's heated through, that's really your only.
And the pastry's cooked.
They're the only thing. So it's really good. You're not going to accidentally give yourself food poisoning.
Very good. Yeah. So what time is it now? It's 1:30. If they take about 30 minutes, what do you guys want to do? Should we do you want to see the final product or? What do you think?
Absolutely. I totally want to see it. So how long do you think it takes? About 30 minutes?
Yeah.
That's perfect. So it'll be right at the end of the session. So what we can do is we've got 30 minutes. So if everyone want to jump on camera, if anyone has any questions for Lily, or Lily, if you want to chat about the process or anything else.
Well, I'm going to keep just making them as I go as well. So I'm adding a bit more feta and stuff just to juice it up. Why not? The process, well, yeah, as I said, it was my first time making these, and it has been pretty fun, to be honest. And they look really tasty. I don't know. I think it's worth it if you take some time, put some time aside, and actually make some food. It's rewarding, because you can come back to the fridge and get it whenever you want.
Cool. Like I said, if you guys have any recipes that you want to send through to us or any ideas that you wanted to send through, we'll collate those as kind of a resource for new and continuing students for orientation. We're kind of, like I said at the start of the session, we're trialing this out a little bit. So we'll find a way to put them all together just so when people do start university or move out of home, there's a little bit of a guide or a repository that they can access while, just some of those really those questions you don't really think about until you start. You ask, have I got my course sorted out? Is my timetable okay? Am I enrolled? Do I know how to get to my classes? But then you come home and it's like, oh, how do I cook, or what do I do? And so kind of those day-to-day foundation things is where we really want to get involved in the orientation space.
Absolutely. Sorry, go Lily.
Even though it's take a little bit of time to prepare, if you're literally going to get 30 sausage rolls out of them, they're great for uni because you can take them with you during the day. Just take two, then you don't have to prepare or waste money at the cafes and things like that.
Yeah, and you could do hot and cold too, couldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Plus, there's if campus opens up, there are little microwaves and stuff around some of the buildings. Also, Ed was saying you can pretty much make anything you want using this kind of recipe, but structure, you know what I mean? So you could put meat in here if you wanted, maybe even pine nuts or something, different flavors.
Pumpkin and spinach is really good if you boil pumpkin up first. Yep.
If you boil what?
If you boil the pumpkin first, and same with potato when you mash it all up, then you can put goat's cheese, spinach, and pumpkin and pine nuts. That's a really good one.
Yeah. So it kind of feels gourmet, I guess. Paid at a bakery for these.
Nice. Well, look, what we might do, just because I don't want to hold anyone up if they've got to get off to study, But what we can do, Lily, is at the end, if you want to take some photos and send them through to me, I'll email out to everyone with the recipe list of what they turned out like. But did you have any final things, Lily, that you wanted to pass on about them at all? What do they go with? What sauce would you use with them?
I'd probably have like, maybe have like rocket on the side or something, and like a chutney of sorts, like a tomato chutney. But I mean, you can also just have basic sauces with them, like tomato sauce, I guess, barbecue sauce. Kind of up to you, like whatever your taste preference is. Maybe even like some sort of sour cream with that. But yeah. I'll let everyone know how they taste. Photos out and everything. Does anyone have any questions? Have you got any questions that you'd like me to answer?
I think it's more of a comment, Lily, but thank you so much for doing this. This has been the best.
Absolutely. And look, I want to reiterate what Kate said too. Firstly, thank you for coming along, Lily, and showing us your kitchen and showing us your amazing sausage rolls. Thank you for your assistants in the background who helped you as well with everything, which is great.
Thanks, Ed.
Very welcome.
Yeah.
So no, look, honestly, it's amazing. We're going to make up the recipe and send it out to everyone after so that people can attempt this at home. And hopefully people can come along to the next one. But did you have any last words you want to say, Lily, before we wrap it up?
I'll just say thanks to everyone for coming along and yeah, watching me work through this process. And yeah, nice to see you as well, Manshu, making your food. That was great. Made it a bit more interactive. Yeah, and I hope you had a good time, guys. That's all.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Well, thank you everyone for coming. This will be uploaded and available on our YouTube channel if you want to watch back and make the recipe. And I'll also drop that recipe list and the ingredients and send it out to everyone that was registered today, and send us through some photos if you make it. Otherwise, have a great week, and we will see you at our future events or lunch next week. Thanks, guys.
Guys.
Thanks.
See ya.